Hey YouTube, what's up? This is the reluctant Nabi, Nabi back again. And I would like to welcome two new groups. So I will start off by saying Jumbo Habare Gani and Sani Banani. All right. And of course, uh Kedu Bawani. And then we have Konnichiwa, Ni hao ni ha ma, Oi to the bang, Bonjour mes amis, and Vasses los. All right. And to my brother, Guten Tag, V Gates is Ihnen. He know what I'm talking about out there in Deutschland. All right, black men, we need to start paying attention to real news instead of distraction. All right, and the Beyonce is going to weigh heavily in my next two videos is because again these epiphanies keep coming up. All right. Um, but dudes, we're gonna have to pay more attention to these. All right, we now realize that these simp brothers, these brothers that's like, oh, we can work with all women and all black women, and we need to. These simp brothers do not realize that these women have been destroying men for the longest. One dude said, "I've seen a couple of your videos, and this is your opinion," which lets me know that it's a black woman posing as a dude. All right, because you know they always trying to take the place of men. Now, the other thing is black women are starting to become concerned is because for a long time they've been able to masquerade as if black men were the problem and not even and most black men did not stand up to it. They just believed it as it was. The pushback that I get for exposing the truth about black women from other simple um, coochie minded mama's boys that come to my channel, these are the same dudes that were not around to refute anything, any negative thing that black women said about black men. They were not around to band together to stop the onslaught of the destruction of the black family by the black woman. But in order to get some trim or whatever, these dudes are attacking brothers like me who's putting out this truth, who's putting out serious stuff. Because at the end of the day, these dudes would do anything they could to get inside Beyonce's drawers or any woman like her. All right. A lot of these dudes are ignorant, lacking knowledge, and many are just plain old stupid. There's a difference between an ignorant brother and a stupid brother. All right. For right now, based on a few comments, I can't tell the difference between the two for some of these brothers coming up here. All right, and trying to go against channels like mine. And some of you brothers need to get back out there. Some of you brothers whose channel been shut down or whatever, y'all need to get back out there. I figured some things out. If I get any inkling of a strike, like YouTube come and say, okay, you got copyright material, brothers, you notice I take the video down right away and correct whatever the error is. You see what I'm saying? So I use a lot of data driven points, and a lot of stuff, a lot of the videos to show you what's really going on. To some of this, I do have an opinion, but the information that these ignorant brothers are talking about are facts that I'm putting out, even when I use scripture, right? So that lets me know black men, real black men, and I won't consider these brothers real black men until they learn to research and study and come to the truth that a lot of us black men are coming to, and it's not going to be most of us. Remember, only a third, which means you got these simps and ignorant, stupid brothers that's going to be on the jocks of these evil women. And I'm calling the brothers stupid, but I'm calling the black women evil. That's doing this thing because they are well aware of what they're doing even though when they talk to you, they try to make you think that they're not aware of it. It's the okie doke, y'all. Don't fall for it. All right. So basically, um, this is some of the news that's going on. And I'm looking at this as these are test subjects, right? Um, U.S. funded Somali intelligence agencies have been using children as spies. Okay. This report was by Kevin Sheaf of the Washington Post. All right, a 15-year-old Al Shabaab defector stands in early April at the Elman Center, a facility in Mogadishu that rehabilitates former child combatant. The boy and several others said they were forced to work as informants for the Somali intelligence agency. All right, the United States pleaded for them to be removed from the battlefield. The United States denounced the Islamist militants for using children to plant bombs and carry out assassinations. But when the boys were finally disarmed, some defecting and some others apprehended, what awaited them was yet another dangerous role in the war. This time, the children say they were forced to work for the Somali government. All right? Now, at the same time, that understand this. So the United States rebuked them for using the children as soldiers, but then the United States worked with the Somali government to use them as spies. Now, while this news is going on, this news was going on. Yes, the national media wanted us to be more concerned with this. Beyonce, the Lemonade video. A woman better known for showing off her body and twerking like most other black women in the United States. So while our attention is drawn to the booty, this stuff is still going on. All right. So the boys were used for years as informants by the country's National Intelligence and Security Agency. All right. NISA. So be familiar with that. NISA. According to interviews with the children, Somali and UN officials, they were marched through the neighborhoods where Al Shabaab insurgents were hiding and told to point out their former comrades. The faces of these intelligence agents were covered, but the boys, some as young as 10, were rarely concealed. According to the children, several of them were killed. One tried to hang himself while in custody. So these children are being used as soldiers. Then when they try to escape, the United States-led NISA is using them as spies. All right. At least with soldiers, they have guns. As spies, not only do they not have guns, but they're just pawns. They're not going to be safe. And they're just being hung out to dry. And believe me, the CIA knows about it. The Somali agency's widespread use of child informants, which has not been previously documented. In other words, they don't put it on paper. Because as white people do things, if it's not on paper, it's not done. In the lab, there's a policy. If we run out of paper to print the results of controls that are run in the morning, all right, we can't run any samples. Why? Even though the machine came in, if it's not on paper, it's not done. Well, it's the same thing. U.S., when they want to hide things, they just don't put it on paper. It doesn't mean that they're not doing it. It means it's just not on paper. But like we ran the controls, they are running this program. It's just not on paper. How do you say it? Plausible deniability? All right. So it raises difficult questions for the U.S. government, which for years has provided substantial funding and training. And y'all understand when we provide training, that means we're on the foot running the thing to the Somali agency through the CIA. So the CIA is running this program. All right. The Somali agency, we just use that as a backing for stuff that we're actually running. Come on, y'all know how we do. We get in there and run it, and then we say, no, these people are running it. According to current and former U.S. officials. All right. So while this is going on, we're concentrating. We concentrated on following the news of a woman whose main talent is to promote her body. She goes somewhere and sells out concerts. She sells out the tickets to the concert before she even gets there. And who's buying these? Are the women are taking all their daughters to see this. I wonder why they're warping their minds. I wonder, are these the test subject to be spies for any men that rebel against what's coming down the pipe from the government? Think about it. Why are they conditioning? Why? I mean, what's up with this Beyonce stuff? You see what I'm saying? Why are we concentrating on lemonade when this is going on? This report that I'm doing came down today, uh, the 7th, 2016, the 7th of May. All right. I'm reading this. I read this today, and I show you the news footage at first. All right. But this is what we're mainly talking about in the U.S. as far as black people, black men. We need to get on it and start looking at real news. Because, check this out. A CIA spokesman declined to comment on the issue. Remember, it's not on paper. But in the past, the U.S. government has supported Somali security institutions despite well known human rights violations, citing the urgent need to combat terrorist groups such as Al Shabaab. So the U.S. is not above using somebody else's children in order to subvert anything that they deem an enemy to the way of life in the United States. Right? The child's informants were used to collect intelligence or identify suspects in some of the world's most dangerous neighborhoods, according to their accounts. They took me sometimes in a car and sometimes on foot and said, tell us who is Al Shabaab, said one 15-year-old who said he was held by the intelligence agency. It's scary because you know everyone can see you working with them. So that's why a lot of these boys are either dying as soldiers or dying as pawns of the intelligence agency. But I'm guessing they have better chances as a soldier. Because like I said, at least they get a gun. The intelligence agency are using these children and setting them up to be killed without a way to defend themselves. Is this a practice run for the CIA to that are doing to them what they intend to do with our children in the United States? Black men, think about this. Other groups have been subverted by women. And you know, there's a lot of fear about this martial law that's coming down with the United States. How are they going to get into every household to find out who's against them? And it's not just us brothers that got to worry about it. It's really the white men that got to worry about it too. The white men with certain organizations that arm themselves to be against the government taking away their rights. But what do they have us concentrating on instead of paying attention to what the United States is doing around the world? Yes, the new God in the United States. And this is basically it. Our women and their children are now worshiping this. You got black men coming to people's channel to try to fight them on putting out the truth because they're worshiping this. But might I remind the brethren, the 1/3, Exodus 21, and Elohim spoke these words saying, I am Yahweh your Elohim, which brought you out of the land of Mizraim, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other mighty ones against my face. Let me repeat that. You shall have no other mighty ones against my face. Beyonce has been built up to be a mighty one. Trust me on this one. Adele is even quoted of saying she is Jesus effing Christ. Another word, a mighty one. A mighty one is also a king or a queen. We'll get to 1 Samuel 8 chapter. Now I explain. You do not take, Exodus 20 and 4. You do not make for yourself a carved image or any likeness of that which is in the heavens above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. You do not bow down to them or serve them. For I, Yahweh, your Elohim, am a jealous Allah. And that should be Allah, not El. So I, Yahweh, your Elohim, am a jealous Allah, visiting the crookedness of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me. All right. There is no E sound. There is no E in the ancient Hebrew alphabet, in Aramaic, when these commandments came down. So all the time, people, if we use God or Lord, that does not denote who we're talking about. It's Elohim and Allah. All right. So Exodus 20 and 6, but showing kindness to the thousands of those who love me and guard my commandments. So even though we are few, we are still thousands in the eyesight of the Most High. All right. So back to this. Somalia's intelligence agency continues to keep such boys for months at a time. To our knowledge, in spite of a 2014 agreement to release the children to UNICEF within 72 hours of their escaping Al-Shabaab or being apprehended, although the details of the CIA's operation in Somalia are secret, again, not on paper, Somalia official says two agencies work together closely. So the CIA are using these boys, basically. Come on, y'all, let's be real. There's nothing NISA does that the CIA doesn't know about. Why? Because the CIA runs NISA. Come on, you know how these white people do. The United States are running all these governments from the United States, from the seat of the UN, the United States, England, and dare I say Australia. You know these top 1% of the 1% of the families that's running the European style governments. CIA doesn't know about, says senior Somali official who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss the sensitive intelligence issues. That's how you know the CIA is involved. Now, remember I said that Beyonce is God. So some black women are calling Beyonce God, believe it or not. They are actively worshiping Beyonce. Oh, and you got a bunch of simp black men, like the ones that's coming to our channel and my channel, and people like me trying to defend these evil that the black women are doing. All right. British pop queen in red, I'm reading. And here's the link, Breitbart.com. British pop queen Adele paused a concert in Denmark this week to sing the praises of Beyonce and her latest albums. The Black Lives Matter thing, Lemonade. Now, Black Lives Matter is for lesbianism. All right. The Black Lives Matter thing, Lemonade, telling attendings at the concert that Beyonce, excuse me, is Jesus effing Christ. Y'all can fill in them blanks. And I repeat, Exodus 20:1. And Elohim spoke these words, saying, I am Yahweh, your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other mighty ones be against my face. You do not make for yourself a carved image or any likeness of that which is in the heavens above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. You do not bow down to them nor serve them, for I, Yahweh, your Elohim, your Allah am a jealous Allah, visiting the crookedness of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me. That's black women who teach their children to hate the commandments of the Almighty. And that's these simpletons and these simps that keep popping up on my channel, putting in remarks that I have to delete and remove in defense of this ratchetness that is the modern day black woman. And remember, we're talking about the black woman, not the sisters. We have sisters, and then we have the black woman. So, brothers, let's learn to tell the difference between the two. Exodus 20:6 again, but showing kindness to the thousands of those who who love me and guard my commandments. And I shall repeat this again so that y'all will understand what's going on. Elohim spake this word, saying, I am Yahweh, your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other mighty ones before my face. You do not make for yourself any carved images or any likeness that is which is in the heavens above, which is in the earth beneath, or which is the waters under the earth. They're worshiping her. You do not bow down to them, for I am Yahweh, your Elohim. For I, Yahweh, your Elohim, am a jealous Allah, visiting the crookedness of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generations of those that hate me, but showing kindness to thousands of those who love me and guard my commandments. Black men, the brothers, the brethren, family, fam. I'm telling you, we need to get back to these commandments and guard them. We need to kick the black women to the curb and never mind about her. She is our enemy, and we need to treat her as such. The ones that are sisters, we need to take them into the fold. We need to protect them. We will know them is because they will follow our lead and not try to usurp our authority. That's how we will know a sister from a black woman. And if the sister if a black woman comes in pretending to be a sister and she stops our progress, our momentum, all right, and she makes things difficult and she tries to, let's see, what is one of the things, emasculate, try to usurp herself over us, then she's not a sister. She's a black woman. We need to kick her to the curb. Now, 1 Samuel 8:4. And all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Shemuel at Ramah. And they said to him, look, you are old, and your sons do not walk in your ways. Now appoint for us a sovereign that is a mighty one. A sovereign is a mighty one to rule us like all nations. Now I shall prove that a sovereign is a mighty one. All right. But the words was evil. 1 Samuel 8:6. But the words was evil in the eyes of Shemuel when they said, give us a sovereign to rule us. So Samuel went and prayed to Yahweh. And Yahweh, 1 Samuel 8:7. And Yahweh said to Shemuel, listen to the voice of the people that they in all that they say to you, for they have not rejected you, Shemuel, but they have rejected me from ruling over them. One, if you pick a sovereign, a queen, or a king. Now, we understand what reign is and we understand what sovereign is. All right? Sovereign is synonymous with king or queen. The Almighty said, if you pick a king or queen to rule over you, then I won't rule over you. It's either or. Is this or that. It's night and day. All right? And so, let me read that again. And Yahweh said to Shemuel, listen to the voice of the people in all that they say to you, for they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me from reigning over them, because they weren't keeping the commandments or they were using other mighty ones. And now they want another sovereign. See, the Almighty is our sovereign. We don't need a king or queen. We go by his commandments. 1 Samuel 8:8. According to the works which they have done since the day that I have brought them out of Mizraim, even to this day, forsaking me and serving other mighty ones. So, if you want a king or queen, if you're looking for a King Jesus or any of that, then you have forsaken the Almighty, the Most High, Yahweh or Elohim. You have forsaken him and you're serving another mighty one. If you worship Beyonce, all right, so they are doing to you, they are doing it to you. And now, listen to their voice. But you shall certainly warn them, and shall make it be known to them, ruling of a sovereign who does reign over them. All right. Make it known to them, the ruling of a sovereign who does reign over them. All right. So, y'all read this, right? And y'all can pause this and read this, but I want to show you that what is going on is not just affecting the little boys, it's affecting the elders too. All right. And all this is happening because y'all could pause this and read this. Read Leviticus 26 and 13 through Leviticus 26 and 24. All right. This is all the stuff that happens to us when we decide not to do these commands that he has given to us. All right. I showed you what a king and queen is. Y'all better understand. So here are my final thoughts. As for Isaiah 3 and 12, as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they would lead thee, cause thee to err, and destroy the ways that I path. The Lord standeth and plead. It should be Yahweh standeth up to plead, and standeth to judge the people. All right. So he's pleading with us. While the God of the modern day black women, who they are getting their daughters and their little boys, and somebody sent men to worship, now promotes violence in her video against a man if she can't control his tool. Because that's what this is all about. A black woman can't tell a man who he can or cannot screw. Bottom line, the commandments tell him that. This is all about control over the man. And the black women think that if they can snip off his thing like the slave masters used to do to the men. They used to castrate them. I showed you that in another video. All right, they used to castrate them to take away their manhood, and then they would put them on sex farms to be raped. And the black women are doing the same thing. They're trying to mentally castrate the men. But I say this literally, F them, and figuratively, F them. All right, there are enemies, and only the sisters are worthy of becoming wives. All right, but understand this clip here. How she making women believe that you can bring a bat and hit a man. There's going to be a lot of dead women behind this video. Trust me on that. Because dudes are tired. Dudes are tired. And it's time out. It's time to see the black women for these violent enemies that they are and deal with them accordingly. And then it's time to see sisters for who they are and protect them from them accordingly. Because not only are these women the black men's enemy, they are also the enemies of our sisters. With that said, I'm out.